7. Beard outside the switch. Doncic goes on. And he hammers it home. Broke his ankles.
What's going on, guys? Welcome into Clutch B-Ball TV as the New York Knicks come out the W up against the Detroit Pistons 109-90 in the Little Caesars Arena. This is a game you should absolutely win. I don't care if there was fans there. The Pistons are the second worst team in the NBA. Jeremy Grant, nice player. I've loved seeing his development since the Sixers days, since the Nuggets days. I've loved seeing his development of his offensive skill set and the moves in his arsenal. We all know he's been a good athletic player ever since college in Syracuse and a good defensive player, but it was just adding new moves to his arsenal, establishing himself as a better offensive player, and that's what he's done. But that's literally the only player that really showed up for them at the end of the day. No Blake Griffin. We know Killian Hayes is injured, even though he is kind of a project when it comes to the point guard position, but they may even be in the position to get Cade Cunningham. And well, Cade Cunningham could play the three. He's kind of like a point forward, you know what I'm saying, a combo guard. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Killian Hayes has a lot of work to do coming from the smaller type of league, lower competition compared to a guy like Theo Maledon, who currently plays for the Thunder. But I think Killian Hayes has some upside, and I think he could be a good player down the road. But I don't care that they have a Mason Plumlee. I don't care that they have Dennis Smith Jr. You had to win this basketball game if you wanted to prove that you're absolutely legit. Like, the Knicks in the past, we wouldn't have made adjustments. We wouldn't have come to play off this back-to-back. We wouldn't have played good defensively whatsoever, but the Knicks absolutely came to play. We didn't blow this game. We didn't blow a 20-point lead and only win by 5. No, we manhandled the Pistons for 48 minutes, at least on the defense side of the basketball. I thought we did a very good job playing defense with our feet, not our hands. I thought we played very fundamentally sound defense. If it was Nerlens Noel holding it down in the paint, which I was scared of the depth at the center position, a guy like Taj Gibson being out with the ankle injury, got injured in the Indiana Pacers game, and of course Mitch already being out. But Nerlens Noel held it down. We're shooting well from beyond the arc. We averaged 10 threes per game, I believe, and we went above that clip. RJ played tremendous, in my opinion. Like, yes, maybe you could say he took a couple questionable shots at the beginning, but I thought RJ Barrett played a good game. He knocked down his free throws. He knocked down his threes from the outside. I guess he's good up against, like, these teams that start with the letter P when it comes to knocking down threes from the outside. But yeah, the Pistons are the second worst team in the NBA. You got to win this game. But RJ played tremendous on defense. I even thought Obi did a solid job defensively. He may have his lapses because he's a rookie, but I actually thought he did a very solid job. Alec Burks was absolutely flame-throwing the Detroit Pistons from beyond the arc. He was hitting some ridiculous line drive shots. He was stepping up just tremendously from downtown. He's a guy that is okay defensively. He may not be the greatest defensively, but he made up for it with his offense. Kevin Knox didn't even touch the floor. I actually thought, like, Knox might have been, like, pushed out there a little to play some small ball 5, but I was expecting it to be Obi Toppin, but it was just a little thing, like, don't be surprised if Knox goes out there. But no, it was Obi Toppin, and he didn't score much. I believe he only, like, 2 or 4 points, but I thought he did a solid job defensively in this basketball game. He has a lot to work on for sure. Obi's a Knick. I'm going to support him, but do I think he's a lot to work on? Yes, he does for sure. But up against Dennis Smith Jr., this was kind of a revenge game for him because of the trade that went down. We ended up acquiring a Derrick Rose. Some people liked it, some people didn't. Traded away Dennis Smith Jr., who I personally don't like, but I want to see him, like, achieve somewhere. I want to see him have success. Like, these are people at the end of the day. And we ended up giving up the Willy Hernangomez pick, which is projected in, like, the 40-something. Like, overall in this upcoming draft, I believe. So it wasn't really a big deal. And Derrick Rose played good defense on Dennis Smith Jr. Dennis Smith Jr. was absolutely uncomfortable when he got to the wings. His shots weren't falling. I believe he hit 1-3 in this game and had, like, a layup in garbage time. But he had some nice playmaking skills. Like, he made a couple nice passes. But besides that, Dennis Smith Jr. did not come to play. He didn't have, like, a revenge game, if that's what he wished for in this game. And Jeremy Grant could only do so much. He literally puts that team on his back, and they're still the second worst team in the NBA. Because you can literally consider Mason Plumlee maybe being their second best player, or like a Sadiq Bey, who is a rookie who I'm really a big fan of for sure. I'm a really big fan of guys like Sekou as well, but that might just be because he's French, and I love these French players like Frank Ntilikina, like Tony Parker. Like, I love the European players, if you know what I'm saying. I hope he could develop into something solid one day, but he's definitely a very raw project like a Killian Hayes, like I mentioned, playing in a smaller league compared to a guy like Teo, but he has the physical attributes and he has the talent for sure. But the Knicks just had full control of this game for all 48 minutes. We're knocking down threes from the outside. Reggie Bullock played well. Julius Randle didn't have a great first quarter. Like, the Pistons were actually, like, keeping up with us, like, for a little bit in that first quarter. They actually played pretty well in the first quarter for sure because Julius Randle wasn't getting things going, and we know Nerlens Noel doesn't provide much offensively, but RJ Barrett definitely helped. Derrick Rose helped us, like, take the lead in this game. But we know, like, we've noticed this with Julius Randle. It's kind of like a pattern. He may not have the greatest of first quarter, but he shows up when it matters most, and that step back in his arsenal looks freaking deadly. It literally looks like one of the most freaking deadly moves in the NBA right now. But the way Julius Randle played in this game was tremendous. I'm very proud of this basketball team. This team would have laid down and died if it was last season with David Fizdale, if it was a Jeff Hornacek team. I'm not even going to go to Derek Fisher. Anyway, that's like a whole other video. Gosh, imagine talking about Derek Fisher. I might be in my like upcoming Phil Jackson video with my boy Avery. But yeah, the Knicks, I thought they played all 48 minutes of basketball. I was very proud of them. They led. They actually ended up holding the Pistons to under 40 points, and that was like the least amount of points they had in the first half. So that just shows how good the Knicks were defensively, but you could also say the Pistons were missing their shots. But you could just tell we were really making them feel uncomfortable in the paint if it was even rookies like an Isaiah Stewart out there. We were also plus 20 points in the paint. Like, we were absolutely destroying them in the paint. It just like wasn't even funny. Like, we were absolutely killing them. They're a very young team, and they have a lot to learn, especially with a guy like Blake Griffin not being on the court. I'm not saying this game would have been drastically different and they would have won, but having a guy like Blake Griffin out there definitely puts pressure on the Knicks in a different type of way. A very experienced player with some moves in his arsenal, starting to develop a three-point shot, who's actually been pretty damn solid, in my opinion, when healthy in the NBA. But talking about Emmanuel quickly for a little bit, he did turn up in the fourth quarter with a couple of just crazy threes. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm not even hating on Quickly. I freaking love Quickly. He's definitely going to have to work on his playmaking and learning how to make passes out of the pick and roll. I know he loves getting to his spot of getting the defense, like getting the guard to get caught on his hip and then going for the floater. Does a really good job catching the point guards on his hip and initiating contact and putting up that floater or trying to lead his way to the basket. He does a good job with that. But there's certain situations, just take it strong to the basket. Sometimes he just throws it up there. But his playmaking and taking it strong to the basket, he definitely needs help with. I don't even think it's his handle. I think his handle's fine. But he definitely needs to work on those two things. And of course, also he needs to get better defensively, like every player does, like when it comes to certain aspects of the game. I want to give credit to actually a rookie of the Detroit Pistons. His name is Saben Lee. He was actually one of the later picks of the 2020 NBA draft. He was a guy the Knicks were actually targeting or attacking pretty well defensively in this game. I believe he only had 2 points in the first half, but he did a really good job adjusting, like when the defensive players would go under or over screens, he would know how to attack a certain way of penetrating, and I just want to give credit to Saben Lee there. The Knicks come out the W, played all 48 minutes of basketball, shot the ball well from beyond the arc. If it was Burks, Bullock, I would like to see Knox out there. Like, Knox was freaking just like, we're winning by so much. I didn't really understand that. That's the thing with Tibbs. Like, we could be winning by 1,000. Randall and RJ will still be out there, but I'm very proud of the way this team played for sure. Got to be happy with this win. Of course, this is a game that you should win. It's the Detroit Pistons' second worst team in the NBA. But let me know down below your thoughts. Julius Randle, amazing. RJ Barrett, amazing. And as always, guys, have a humble day or night. Peace out, y'all.